a couple of things. Sir. First, I'd like to tell you that this gentleman here used to be a martial artist before.
I
Go on
used
Google.
to pretend.
So, and it's basically his passion for martial arts, his love for Bruce Lee, finally got him to make a film which is a tribute to Bruce Lee. And what better than to collaborate with the Chinese and make a Indo-China film. Pan India तो बताते हैं, वो Pan India तो मतलब Great Wall के पार भी चला गया है. Pan India and Pan China film. What prompted you to make something like this?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be very difficult for anyone to maybe really understand, because normally any filmmaker will always have a tendency to get influenced by other filmmakers most of the time, because starting from the classics of the 50s to the 70s to whatever. But I always been influenced by actually Bruce Lee. Because I feel there was also a filmmaker in Bruce Lee apart from him being a martial artist, which is what, in fact, the people have seen my first film, Shiva. Actually, it was a straight copy of a Bruce Lee film called Return of the Dragon. So what I did was, that film, in a nutshell, is Bruce Lee comes from somewhere to a room, from Hong Kong somewhere, and some goons are teasing this girl, and he fights them. And then at a point of time, because the troublemaker, they ask him to go out, and he forms his own team, and then there's a fight in the end on the Colosseum. So I just removed the restaurant and put a college and made the exact same film, which most people do not know this, you know. So the change of the, setting, but though Nagarjuna is not a martial artist, I actually adopted the technique of shooting action largely from what I studied and understood from Bruce Lee. Then apart from that, Bruce Lee also was a philosopher. He had strong opinions about things and about life, and which is what influenced me a lot. I mean, like, many of you will remember when Enter the Dragon released, I mean, there were probably hundreds of martial arts schools and thousands opened all over the world, because Bruce Lee made it seem so easy to do that. But once I started practicing, I realized it's much easier job to become a film director, so let's leave the martial arts alone. But since then, I mean, always it was preying on my mind, and I always wanted to make a martial arts film, but technically speaking, I mean, there aren't much martial artists in India. It's not like a culturally which is popular here. And every once in a while it used to return back to me, this desire to make a martial arts film. And at one point of time I thought it's very difficult to get the Bruce Lee aspect in, and then to take a man, put a man there, and to convince the audience about the impact of it. So then I thought, why not a woman, you know? So then I started hunting at various martial arts schools, so to send them mails to send me pictures of martial artists. Because one is I need a martial artist, and then somewhere the suitability of the script, and then of course again the presentability in terms of the character. So it's a very tough thing to have the combination, and at a point of time I nearly gave up, you know, after seeing and auditioning a lot of people. Then by chance in somewhere when I was sitting in a studio, when I was talking about this, a guest of one of the technicians there, he overheard me talking about this, and he told me that there is this girl called Pooja in Pune. He said, I also haven't seen her, but I heard a lot about her, that she's terrific in martial arts. So not really taking it seriously, I told my production people to contact, and then she came along with her father, and then she demonstrated to me in my office, and I was simply blown away. I mean, it took me just 1 second to take that decision. if I make this film, I'll make with her, you know. And then a long process started because she was technically a champion in Taekwondo. And I was very particular about the Bruce Lee style, which is called Jeet Kune Do. And then a long process of training with various people went, and finally, I know that I got the person, then of course, the story. And then to reach, because most of the time we use wire work and actors doing unbelievable stunts like, jumping in the air and hanging out in the air and that kind of a visual things which actors like Tiger Shroff or Vidyut Jamal, these people do. They might know, I'm not saying they don't know martial arts, they know, but they've learned it more for acting purpose, whereas an actor's requirement. So I thought I will do fight sequences which absolutely there is no wire work like what Rama was saying. And apart from that, I wanted only to do what she can do. There's not a single shot in the film where there's a dupe acting for Pooja. And that creates a very heightened sense of reality. So it's been, and the kind of effort Pooja has put in is something inhuman. I really won't believe if someone else told me about that someone like Pooja can exist and actually do all these stunts herself, being a girl. And it is something for me, even now after working with her, after shooting the fight sequences with her, I'm still in shock. And one more thing I want to share is, I didn't tell you this also, all the fight sequences in the film actually are designed by Pooja Bhalekar, because she's got this martial arts skill, and apart from that, the fact that she's been a passionate follower of films, and so she kind of breathes martial arts, and that to get it to convert it into a film is what the only job I have done. And then once we did some test shoots and all that, I sent the footage to someone in China, and they were zapped to see her perform. And then they came down here and they said, we would like to co-produce the film along with you. And that's when it became Indo-Chinese co-production. It's not like releasing in China. The partner is a Chinese producer called Big People. And then, so here the Indian producer is Ramgopal Varma from RGV Media. And he also is a huge fan of Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon. So basically, I think a group of Bruce Lee fans are which made this film possible, which includes even Pooja Bhalekar. So after this, I just want to play one making video called India Meets China. Yeah.
महको तो ऐसे महको कि बाहरों में होश आए, ताली बजाओ तो ऐसे बजाओ कि डेब्यूटेंट को जोश आ जाए.
Damn, the AC is really cranked up.
So, how are the butterflies?
They're coming out of my tummy now. It's everywhere.
So, how, he just described how your journey as to how you met him.
Yeah.
How glad are you that a martial artist is playing a martial artist?
First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here today. It's a very special day for us. We have been working on this film past a very long time, and finally we are releasing our film. And me and RGV sir and the makers of the film, we are really, really proud to present you The Ladki. And I hope that you guys love the film. And so to answer your question, more than glad, I would love to say that I feel really blessed and really, really grateful to be here and to be a part of Ladki. It was Sir's dream project. I thought that I'm the biggest fan of Ladki until I met Sir. And we can talk about Bruce Lee for hours and discuss about his thoughts and way of life, and we have tried to uh, get that essence of Bruce Lee in the film. So let's see.
See, that's been a childhood dream for him.
Yeah.
And he chose you to manifest that on screen. How big a responsibility was that?
It was a really, really big responsibility for me to perform this role because whatever you're seeing on the screen, so the Pooja Karnik is actually playing RGV sir. So, like how Pooja Karnik is a fangirl of Bruce Lee, in real life, Sir is like that, I guess. I mean, he's the biggest fan of Bruce Lee I've ever seen in my life. And we are just trying to portray what Sir feels about Bruce Lee.
जब वहाँ की बात कीजिए, मैं आपको अगला सवाल पूछता हूँ. ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण सवाल है. आपने इतने सारे नेशनल और इंटरनेशनल टूर्नामेंट्स जीते टाइक्वांडो में, उसके बाद आपने और बहुत सारे मार्शल आर्ट सीखे बिफोर बिकमिंग एन एक्टर. हाउ लॉन्ग वाज योर प्रिपरेशन एंड हाउ लॉन्ग हैज बीन? यू कैन लुक देयर एंड
I feel that my preparation for this role wasn't just about, preparing for 2 years, 3 years. I think the journey started the moment I started learning martial arts, and my entire life has been a preparation. That's what I feel. And I hope I performed at least 10% what Bruce Lee can do. Then I'm really happy if people love it.
तो चलिए हम अब आपको एक और सीक्वेंस दिखाते हैं फिल्म से. पूजा, हम 2 मिनट के लिए नीचे चले जाते
Thank
हैं
you.
और फिर विल बी बैक.
Thank you.
विल बी बैक फॉर अ Q&A. पूजा, आप रोड ऐसे ही क्रॉस करती हैं गाड़ी के ऊपर से?
Not with the given traffic scenario right now.
Okay, can we have the mics to the journalists, please? Yeah, please feel to ask questions. The stage mic is all yours. The questions are all yours.
हेलो. द ट्रेलर लुक अमेजिंग, वो बहुत प्रॉमिसिंग लग रहा है. और जितना भी रामू सर आपने बताया, वो समझ में आता है कि एक औरत की, एक लड़की की कहानी है कि कैसे वो समाज से जीतती है. लेकिन फिर भी मैं थोड़ा सा स्टोरी आइडिया लेना चाहूंगा आपसे. द ट्रेलर इज ऑलवेज द फेस ऑफ द फिल्म, लेकिन उतना नहीं मालूम पड़ रहा है जितना मालूम पड़ना चाहिए. बहुत ज्यादा लड़ाई, बहुत ज्यादा फाइटिंग, बहुत ज्यादा एक्शन सीक्वेंस दिख रहे हैं. प्लीज बताइए इस बारे.
See, basically, I like the question and what you're saying. एक कहानी ऐसा है कि one is every woman feels defenseless somewhere. She feels victimized by men right from the college time or whenever she becomes a young girl. Or always we look at them like a weaker sex in terms of which the word came because they're defenseless. Something happens in her life. I'm talking about now Pooja's character in the film, where a tragedy where she couldn't do anything to help her older sister. So when she sees a film of Bruce Lee, she gets inspired from what he talks and what he feels is necessary. जो भी एक society में जीने के लिए जो भी एक problems होते, to learn self-defense, and she takes it as a dedication. She becomes like a Ekalavya. Just watching his documentaries and things. And in the call sequence, at a point of time, she meets a guy, or he gets impressed that he never saw a girl who can do something like this. Or she likes something in him, where even without uska fighting skill nahi, lekin unka ek guts hai, unka ek ye aspect hai. So there's a love story. Initially, he actually loves what she is, but at a point of time, कुछ circumstances के वजह से, he starts hating her obsession for Bruce Lee. And he thinks, in today's time, martial arts, somebody knowing how to punch and kick is an outdated system. If you're pitched against villains with various kinds of weapons, you know. But she has her own, theory about it. So it is like a strange love triangle between her and the boyfriend and Bruce Lee. Because though Bruce Lee is no more, the spirit of Bruce Lee, she's obsessed with it so much that he feels it is wrong for her. In fact, it is going to destroy her. You know? So I would call this film more like a love story against a backdrop of action. Yeah.
पूजा, जब मैं जितना भी हमने देखा वहाँ आपके बहुत दमदार एक्शन नजर आते हैं और जिसमें आप माहिर हैं, आपको उसको समझाने की या बताने की जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन एक्टिंग इज अ वेरी सीरियस थिंग टू डू. तो उसके लिए क्या तैयारियां करी हैं? व्हाट वाज द ब्रीफ द मोमेंट यू केम ऑन बोर्ड?
So initially when we started shooting for Ladki, हमने एक्शन सीक्वेंसेस से शूट करना स्टार्ट किया. तो मेरे लिए काफ़ी इजी रहा बिकॉज मार्शल आर्ट्स मेरा बैकग्राउंड था. तो when we started shooting, तो I was pretty much very comfortable in front of the camera. And by the time we started doing all the acting sequences, काफ़ी इजी रहा मेरे लिए बिकॉज सर का एक स्पेसिफिक ब्रीफ था मेरे कैरेक्टर को लेके, दैट पूजा कारने कैसे बात करती है, ऐसे चलती है, उसका एक डिमीनर है. तो उस हिसाब से मैंने परफॉर्म करने के लिए ट्राई किया. एंड सर वाज कॉन्स्टेंटली गाइडिंग मी थ्रू द फिल्म.
सोशल मीडिया पे जिस तरह से कंपैरिजन चल रहा है,
मुझे एक थोड़ा ऐड करनी चाहिए.
प्लीज सर, प्लीज.
I basically, see, acting for me as an experienced director, I always thought of it as expressing an emotion, So when she is training, when I saw her training, I could see the intensity in her body language. उनकी जो आँखों में, even when she imagines that there is an opponent, even if there is no opponent, that technically comes under acting. So if you have the ability to feel an emotion and then you don't have the consciousness of the camera, that is ideal combination for an actor. So like she said, when she was doing the action sequences, she got used to the camera. She was no longer conscious about it, and now she has a natural flair for feeling an emotion. If you see, even in the fight sequences, you can see her face is carrying the emotion. It is not just about her body skill. So that's what I think makes it complete.
मुझे जिस तरह से सोशल मीडिया पे डिस्कशन रहा और सोशल मीडिया पे बहुत सी बातें कही गई, जब मैं आपकी इस फिल्म की बात करता हूँ, रंगीला, जैसे हमारे एंकर साहब भी बता रहे थे, आप किस तरह से लेती हैं somebody like उर्मिला, उससे कंपैरिजन हो जाना, और किसी भी लिहाज से हो कंपैरिजन तो हो रहा है?
Actually, it's really amazing to see how people are taking the film, like they're comparing it to Rangila. But one thing is to be sure that I can never be Urmila ma'am. Like how in the film I'm trying to do action how Bruce Lee used to do it. I can never be Urmila ma'am, I can never be Bruce Lee. They are just like very unique creatures. So what I'm trying to do here is just just showing my love to Bruce Lee and trying to perform accordingly. So when people compare me to Bruce Lee, they call me the Dragon Girl or a Bruce Lee girl. It makes me really happy, yet I try to keep my legs on the ground. So yeah, when people posted Urmila ma'am's picture on social media and they were comparing me to her, I felt really special. I mean, she's beautiful. I would love to be like her someday.
Pooja,
Hi.
welcome to the world of glitz and glamour, and coming through Ramgopal Varma, you are very lucky. Coming at this time, when women like heroines, they are all craving to do action film.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, You are the perfect, you have that perfect persona, and you have, whatever we see, you are the perfect match of action and beauty. What do you have to say, about your performances that you've done? And along with action, we can see sex oozing. What do you have to say?
I wasn't like this at all when I met sir. I came from a sportsman background. I was a total tomboy girl, if you say. When I met sir, when I, performed in front of him, I was wearing tracksuit and I was very underconfident at that time. But the moment we started working on the project and I started to learn that I should look in a certain way, I should wear certain type of clothes and carry a certain demeanor. So I started working on that. I started doing my own makeup and wearing little bit girly clothes, started wearing earrings. So that change from a sportsman to a heroine, it took a very long time for me, and I worked really hard on it. I worked really hard on my body. Like, as you can see, I'm wearing bikini and all other clothes are also there. So I'm really proud of what we have achieved with the film. And I think we're just overthinking it, like calling it a, what did you say? Just the word you used. Yeah, sex posing. I don't think so. That's the point here. We're just trying to empower women. We're just trying to send a message that no matter what clothes you're wearing, whether it's a sari or a bikini or jeans, you should be able to protect yourself. If a scenario like this, comes in your life, you should be you should be able to protect yourself.
That's what I meant. You are so presentable. That's what I meant.
To add to that, I mean, because Pooja is facing questions for the first time in her life, I think, so I think maybe she's not able to fully encapsulate. Now, I had a long discussions with her in the context of before, Now, interestingly, the fact that Rangila has been mentioned, Now, when I was making Rangila, Urmila also similarly like Pooja, she's come from a very Maharashtrian middle class background, very conservative family. At the time, I told Urmila, see, if there is no such thing, so there's a very age-old thing when journalists ask, does a story demand exposure? But if no story demands anything, first of all, now it's a question, because a film is a visual. How the actor is looking, there's a layer to it, and which is backed by the story. Now, because Urmila has such a fantastic body, now if Rangila, when one of the most memorable visuals in that is when she is running on the beach, I don't think that visual will work without what she's wearing, like a swimsuit or something, So the point when I spoke to Pooja initially, of course, first of all, she's not coming from a film background, she comes from a martial artist background. So I told her, now you've got a body which is so perfect in terms of it's an inspiration. So in the context when a Tiger Shroff or a Hrithik Roshan or a John Abraham or any of them, all the time they're waiting to show off their bodies, And I think it's a double standard to think a woman should not do that, especially when she's in that the same visual art of filmmaking. So I said, if you do it with conviction, you take a pride in what your body is, that will come out